This video I want to go over some books that I recommend. I know I've made videos in the past, like a long time ago, recommending some books, but I want to make an updated video. I finally was able to gather up, all the books that I own and basically just have them at the school in one location, getting them organized, and I got them all here now. I've read a lot more books than what I have here, but some of them people, they just borrowed them, never gave it back, or some books I didn't even purchase. I just went to the library to read them and then I gave them back. So I did that a lot, and I also went to the bookstore, and sometimes I just be at the bookstore, read the whole book, and just put it back. So I have a lot more reading that I've done of which books I don't possess, but I did end up getting into the habit of buying the books that I read and the books that I liked, and here's my collection so far. But I'll just go through from bottom to top of all the books that I recommend. Clearly, this whole shelf is dedicated to Osho. It's all Osho books. So clearly you can see that he's the main person that I study and the main person that I follow when it comes to like spiritual guidance. And not just, you can see that I actually spent all the money for, the Osho books, and I read them all the time, and I'm still reading him because there's so many more books that I haven't read that come from him, and I just keep reading him, and that's the main person that I'm studying at this moment. And this is just kind of proving that I'm serious about that. It's not like I'm just talking about him. I actually read a lot about Osho and his teachings. But I'll show you some of the earlier things that I've read and some of the things that I recommend really quickly. So from here, obviously, I recommend people to start off with Bruce Lee, especially if you're involved with the martial arts. I have most of all his books, but not, some of them people took and they never gave it back. But here, there's Bruce Lee's fighting method. There's volume 1, 2, 3, and 4, but this one's just 3 and 4 right now. I don't know where volume 1 and number 2 went. I think somebody has those. There's also the Bruce Lee books right here. Well, here's volume 2 right here, Basic Training. And then there's the legendary Bruce Lee Fighting Words, Bruce Lee Tao of Kung Fu, Letters of the Dragon, Words of the Dragon, the Jeet Kune Do. Okay, so I definitely recommend all of those. And then there's the Bruce Lee right here. Clearly, we all know the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, but that one's more of his later work. So it's going to be harder to understand that one. So I recommend to read the other ones before. I recommend to read this one last. Read the Tao of Jeet Kune Do last. Read all his other books first. Then there's the Bruce Lee story, The Art of Expressing the Human Body. That's one pretty much about like his weight training methods, and how he exercised. Let me see. If we go over here, let me see if there's any. This book is good right here. It gives a good history on China. I like that one. The Art of War is a good book. It gets into the Chinese philosophy in regards to applying the Chinese philosophy to the military. Okay, the Tao of Inner Peace was pretty good. All right, Tao of Inner Peace. Right here, j.krishnamurti was one of Bruce Lee's favorite sages, so I definitely recommend him. That one's called Meeting Life, but there's a lot of other ones that I read from him too. But j. Krishnamurti is a big one. Okay. Carl Jung is a good psychologist to study. I would recommend Carl Jung over Sigmund Freud any day. Anything when you find something about Zen, the Zen commandments, that's a key word right there. So when you find something about Zen, I recommend to read it. Teach Yourself Zen is another one, very easy to read. Zen Soup. 365 Tao, very daily meditations, easy to read. Everyday Tao, easy to read. The Tao of Piglet. First, there's the Tao of Pooh, which I recommend, and then the Te of Piglet is the one that comes after. Living the Simple Life is a pretty good, easy read right there. Okay, Erich Fromm, he's a really good psychologist to study. The Art of Loving is the first book that I read from him. I recommend that book for sure. And then Man for Himself is pretty good. What is Tao by Alan Watts is pretty good as well. Okay. Plato is good. Toward the Psychology of Being by Abraham Maslow. That's a really good book right there. Toward the Psychology of Being, Code of the Samurai. The Couple's Tao Te Ching is good. Parents Tao Te Ching. The Tao of War is good. Food for the Thinking Mind. That's about Buddhism. That's good. The Tao of Teaching is good. The Tao of Womanhood. To Have or to Be from Erich Fromm is good. That one's good. And the I Ching, the philosophy of the I Ching, that goes into the Eastern philosophy as well. That's pretty good. One of my students gave me this book called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. He said that that's a really good book. I haven't read that one yet though. Okay. Then we come up here. Tantric Love. It's a good book on Tantra. The Pictorial Biography of Buddha. That's a really good one to kind of teach about Buddha's teachings. The Search for Meaning was a pretty good book. Okay. The Magic of Zen. Wheels in the Head is a really good book as well. Okay. Mainly that one's talking about like our educational system and authority in regards to freedom and stuff like that. Alan Watts is another key person to study. He basically specialized in the Eastern ways. Okay, so Tao, the Watercourse Way, do recommend that. The Tao of Love and Sex, I recommend that. These books right here by Thomas Cleary, these are all good right here. These are all like a bunch of books all in one. So you got like The Transmission of Light, Unlocking the Zen Cone, Original Face, Timeless Spring, Zen Antics, The Record of Things Heard, Sleepless Nights, Tao Te Ching, Chang Tzu, Wen Tzu, The Book of Leadership and Strategy, Sex, Health, and Long Life. Those are all good. So basically anything from Thomas Cleary is good as well. You know, he's somebody that really studied the Eastern ways. Reflections Volume 1, that was written by me. That's good. Let's see what else is there. What the Buddha taught. The Awakening of Compassion and Wisdom. Eckhart Tolle is a good one to study. A New Earth. But he's got another book called The Power of Now. Somebody else has that one borrowed, but that's a good book. The Sane Society up there by Erich Fromm is good as well. Alright, The Way of Zen. That one's that's gonna be Alan Watts as well. That one's good too. The Way of Zen. Okay, The Wisdom of Tai Chi. That's good. The Heart of Confucius. Krishnamurti, Love and Freedom is good. The Tao of Personal Leadership is good. The Wisdom of Buddha. Lao Tzu and Taoism is good. The Gift of Shyness is a good book. Tao Te Ching is one of the main texts that every martial artist needs to read and understand. The Book of Chang Tzu. The Way of Chang Tzu. Chang Tzu is a disciple of Lao Tzu, so those books are really good too. The Essential Tao. The Monogamy Myth. It's okay. Pedagogy of the Oppressed. That one's a really good book too. Bruce Lee Fighting Spirit. Not bad book. Total Confidence is good. Okay, so The Secret Power Within, that was Chuck Norris. That's a good, very basic read. The Tree of Enlightenment, that one's a good one too. Okay, so those are the books that I recommend, and then in addition, any book from Osho. You see all these books that I got from Osho: Gold Nuggets, Meditation, The Shoe Fits, Intuition, Power, Politics and Change, Fear, The Search, Intelligence, Belief, Doubt and Fanaticism, The Journey of Being Human, The Chakra Book, The Man Who Loved Seagulls, Compassion, Living Your Own Terms, Say Unto You, The Book of Woman, Courage, Love, Life, Love, Laughter, Yoga, Destiny, Freedom and the Soul, The Courage to Be Yourself, Inner War and Peace, Immoral, Immoral, Amoral, Autobiography of a Spiritually Incorrect Mystic, The Goose is Out, and the Flowers Showered, Love, Freedom, Aloneness, Absolute Tao, Nirvana, The Last Nightmare, The Magic of Self-Respect, The Tantra Experience, Sermon in Stones, Being in Love, Book of Loving, Creativity, mindfulness in the modern world, maturity, the true name, intimacy, fame, fortune, and ambition, Tao. It's all about change. Words from a man with no words, the luminous rebel, emotions, the supreme knowledge, life is a gift, meditation, alone as we fly. Okay, masters of wisdom, rebellion, revolution, religiousness, body-mind balancing, the path of love, the Zen understanding of mind and consciousness, speak to us of love, the Buddha said, the Diamond Sutra, emotional wellness, truth at work, the mustard seed, the book of wisdom, ancient music in the pines, the empty bowl, tantric transformation, the God conspiracy, the book of secrets, Buddha Zen Tao Tantra. So that's what you have. I mean, that's what I have. I got more, but like I said, other people have these books, and they borrowed it from me, but they ended up never giving it back. But it's okay, you know. To me, I think of it as just kind of like, it's kind of like my way to give back to people. Because after I read a book, I normally don't read it again. I just look to the next book to read, and sometimes people borrow it, they don't give it back. But to me, it's just kind of like spreading truth, spreading positivity. If somebody wants to take a book, then oh well, you know. But I've done a lot of reading, but at the same time, you know, I know that it's nothing compared to somebody like Osho. You know, they said that he read like over 300,000 books, you know, and here, you know, I don't even think I've read over 1,000, you know. So there's so much more to read, so much more to learn, and we all start somewhere. But definitely these books are responsible for a lot of my inner growth into helping me gain a better understanding and awareness, and basically becoming a better human being. So I hope that these recommendations will help you too.